Hello, I don't even know where to start. So I missed a week's upload. I did have like clips of things all ready to go. Then typical things happened. So I guess I'll tell you the story, and then if like the clips still fit into all of this, I can add them. I think the important thing is I'll let you know what's been happening, what's happened. Last week I was feeling kind of run down and rubbish because I'd been on another lot of antibiotics with another chest infection. I had been struggling to sleep and I'd been really thirsty and having migraines and just feeling rubbish. But just towards the end of the second course of antibiotics, I thought I was doing okay considering, and went to bed like usual, probably about 4 hours into my sleep. I woke up and I got a drink, and you know, you're kind of like groggy and hazy, and I felt like weirdness in my chest that had woken me up. It took like a second or two to register what the heck it even was, because I've just been woken up by this. I realised very quickly that it was my heart. It was thumping quicker than I've ever had it. Like, I've had these fast heart rate attacks. It's Phoebe. Before, a couple of them have put me to hospital, but they've been bad, but nothing like this was. Anyway, I kind of wake Michael up, and he's not all there either, like just waking up. I straight away just phoned the ambulance, like in my half asleep state knew that this is not right. Michael's through in the kitchen fishing out like the oximeter and all that sort of stuff, and I just tell the ambulance person that I've got a serious lung condition, and there's something wrong with my heart, the usual, you know, addressing that sort of stuff. And Michael comes through, puts the oximeter on my hand, Phoebe, and it said 203, and my oxygen was at 92, and I was like, I just flung it off my hand and I was like, oh my god, I'm dying. Quickly put on my oxygen, because in my mind I was like, okay, maybe it's struggling so much because my oxygen's dropped low in my sleep or something. And 10 minutes later the ambulance arrives. I managed to get Michael to get me somewhat dressed. Like, I got out of my pyjamas, I put on a pair of leggings and a comfy jumper. I've always got my bags, like a bag ready to go for hospital. That doesn't take long. The ambulance guys come in, hook me up, you know, all the sticky tabs and everything, do an ECG, check all that, and their machines are registering 210 with my oxygen being like 93. So kept on the oxygen. They don't even bother sending away the ECG because they just needed to get me to hospital. And so I was really shivery and uncomfortable. Just, you can only imagine like what it feels like for your heart to be like that and be woken up in the middle of the night and just be like, oh my god, what's going on? They get me to the ambulance. I wasn't allowed to walk to the ambulance. They had to take me in the chair thing. Because of all this, all my chest was in pain and I was uncomfortable, and I was having like chest pains in the middle of my chest. So I got, they managed to get a tiny little needle into my hand and give me some pain relief, because I wasn't allowed any of the Equinox, you know, the gas, because he wasn't sure whether I was allowed to with my lungs, so it was just morphine. It was a pretty quick drive there. It was blue light the whole way up. So got to the hospital, Michael was there, but he doesn't get to come in with me until after like certain tests have been run. So I'm just lying there getting another ECG. Some doctors and some nurses come in and they're just watching the screen and looking at me, asking if I'm okay, and I'm just like, yeah, just a bit shaky and out of breath. They were asking just what sorts of pains and things. So the nurse comes in and he's like, he needs to get some blood. So I've got a cannula in my hand. Sorry, Phoebe likes playing fetchies with my hair bottles, so we're gonna have to excuse that during story time here. Yeah, he says Need to get another cannula and get some blood. That was a mission. He tries all up this arm, nada. Tries the hand here, nada. But finally manages to get in this arm here. So we get a cannula in there. So I've got 2 now. I'm covered in sticky things because the hospital and the ambulance sticky pads for ECG don't match the machines. So sticky pads everywhere, and then you're hooked up to your like monitor with different sticky pads. You get, I think, 4 of those, and those are like big ones. So my heart rate at this point is being like almost 3 hours at this steady 200, and it's not showing any signs of chilling out. So the doctor and a couple of nurses come in, and she says, I think she's trying to like not stress me out or make me anxious because that could make it worse. So she like casually says, you know, we have, you know, some things, you know, to get this heart rate down. So once we've finished getting your bloods and we hear back from respiratory, we're gonna have to, you know, implement, you know, these medicines, she said, to get your heart rate down. That was fine, didn't think too much about it, and I just said to her, can I pee first? She's like, yeah, sure, but we can't have you walk into the bathroom. We're not comfortable you going anywhere, exerting yourself. We're gonna bring the toilet to you. You know, I'm bursting at this point, so yeah, that's fine. I managed to pee, and my heart dropped by like 30 beats per minute. So we were now at like 170-ish. And then the doctor comes in and she has a look, and she just looked at it, and she's like, how have you managed that? And I was like, don't know, I guess peeing worked. So she said because it just dropped that suddenly a little bit on its own, she says we'll just give it, you know, a little minute and see if it'll continue to drop. What a nightmare's house. It's halfway through story time and the cats are, well, there's a fly and the cats were trying to kill it. But Masking wanted into the bathroom also, because I wouldn't get up and let her straight into the bathroom. She bit a hole in oxygen. So anyway, it was just let's keep an eye on it, wait for the bloods to come back, wait to hear back from respiratory. So it was fine. Michael comes through, I go off and have my x-ray. That comes back fine. A little while later, they gave me a little bit more morphine, so I was feeling a bit sleepy. And then a nurse comes through with a wrist tag, you know, with your hospital ID and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that gets put on my wrist, and at that point I knew I was being admitted. So the doctor comes back in and asks for a little bit more history on what they've been like in the past. Have I ever tried like things like putting ice on my neck, holding my breath, that sort of stuff. And I said, yeah, I know to ice on my neck and splash my face with cold water. I said none of that works though, and it's never worked for any of these episodes. I said by far though this one has been the worst. Yeah, she says, right, well we're gonna admit you, put you onto the ward and you can see one of the cardiologists in the morning. I forgot to say, this is at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so I get wheeled into the ward. It is cold. It's right next like a door and people were coming in and out, and because we had storm Babette. It was quite a bad, horrible bout of weather. So yeah, I'm just like trying to get me sleep, which isn't easy to do on a ward because you have other people around, you know. A doctor from the ward comes over and he's just keeping an eye, asking me some questions, and he was talking about things like SVT, and I've heard it mentioned before but like nobody ever really said much about it. And I understood roughly what it is. So it's supraventricular tachycardia. Basically your heart goes a bit out of whack. Like an electric signal just doesn't match up and it's just firing off, and it basically makes your heart go a bit mad. These episodes can last like minutes to hours, and they can be dangerous and cause cardiac arrest and things if they're severe enough. And like recurrent SVTs, like what I have, is something that needs kept an eye on. But so he's just talking me in. Michael said to him, so what would have happened if you couldn't get, like, if her heart rate didn't come down a little bit? And he said, well, we would have had to stop her heart and let it come back into its normal rhythm. Shock it basically. And I was like, oh my god. Thank god I went for a pee. But yeah, it's just what it is. And yeah, he's just said keep an eye, because my heart rate at this point was still pretty high. It was still at like 150, but it felt so much better compared to what it was, and because I'd had some morphine and things, I managed to get a little sleep. The tea lady came and gave me a cup of tea and some toast. Michael went and got me a muffin, and my hospital teddy bear. I always get a hospital teddy bear, I'll have to show you. It wasn't till like 4:30, 5 o'clock at night that I seen the cardiologist. I'd got moved to another ward at this point. It was a bigger ward. Yeah, it was a bit cozier. It was nice to put the heating on. And I went and had like a little wash, and I put some fresh clothes on. Was feeling a little bit better. I was just chilling. I was actually on the phone to my granny Mo at the time, and the cardiologist comes in. So I was like, Grandma, I better go. Anyway, he explained to me what it was, and he'd asked some questions about the previous sort of episodes. Why hadn't I seen any cardiologists and things before? And I said, well, usually I just come in and after a few hours it'll calm down and I just get sent home. I looked a bit confused, but so he said because of my lung condition it makes it a bit more complicated, because the number of episodes that I've had would normally warrant further investigation in Aberdeen, but with me they have to tread a little bit more careful. So what he suggested is he's flagged it on the system that I'm having recurrent SVTs. So if I get admitted again with one, they're gonna put me to Aberdeen to have further testing, and if because of my LAM I'm allowed to undergo surgery to correct it, which is basically they will scar around that valve bit. They either use like a laser or like freeze, or like they'll freeze it anyway to kind of build up that scar, and that often fixes the problem. Not always, but sometimes. But again, because of LAM and because of everything, they don't know if that will be possible for me. But it could mean I might have to go for further tests on it if it happens again. But in the meantime, I've been put on bisoprolol, which is medication for your heart. It takes your heart rate down. The other thing to that is that it also drops your blood pressure. And I naturally have very low blood pressure, so my blood pressure has been sitting very low. So I've been quite lethargic and just feeling quite rubbish. I not long started another pill called Mabevarin for my stomach. So all these new pills in my system has just wiped me out, sort of thing. And along with another diagnosis and what could be more tests and what could be more future problems has kind of overwhelmed me a little bit. Yeah, so I thought, okay, that will be that. And he said to me, we'll just get your prescription now and we'll start you on it now. So they come through with the pill and I take it. That was fine. I waited another hour and a half, I think, for the prescription, and then they said that I could go home, just take it easy, and that was fine. That's what I did. Michael's trying to work out all my timings for my medication, because some medication can't be taken alongside other medication, so we always just look it up on the NHS website and things to see when's best to have what and what can't be with what. And it says that my azithromycin, which is my antibiotic, my long-acting, long-term antibiotic thing, and my amitriptyline, when taken together, can cause irregular heartbeat and issues with your heart. So if you have heart issues, you're not to take them, two medications together. Okay, we phoned up Nottingham and they said, yeah, you can't take that, no. You're gonna need to speak to your GP and we'll put through that we've spoke to you. So there was that. So I can't go on the antibiotic, so I'm still vulnerable to my chest infections until tomorrow when I can speak to the doctor, because it's just been a bit chaotic for the past few days and it doesn't help the I spent a lot of the time asleep. I just wake up drained, I eat breakfast, I have a shower, I get ready, and then I'm exhausted again. And it's just been that sort of cycle every day. But I think once all the medications and things sort themselves out and get into my system and it just becomes the new norm, I'll be okay. Just before that incident as well, I had to get an emergency appointment at the dentist because I was having toothache and I had to have root treatment in my front tooth here. So there was that. So if you have wondered where have I got to and why have I been quiet, that is why. It's just another little hump in this path that we're going down here, but we're gonna get through it. It'll be all fine. It'll work out. Things always do. The other thing as well, I got a letter through the post. It was my consultant and she's going off on maternity leave, and I have been referred to the ILT clinics where she has said this is a letter she has wrote to Newcastle, the transplant team, but you get your patient records, so I get sent a copy of any letter that gets sent out. She said that November 2023 I have to go for further tests, but it doesn't say what tests, so we have that upcoming. And she also said that my barium test, my barium test held like unremarkable finds, so they didn't find anything. That was all good. There's one good thing to all of this. So yeah, that's what's been happening. That's where we're at with it all. So on Sunday, so it's Friday tomorrow, we are going to the pumpkin farm. Very excited. I'm very excited to just go do something normal. I'll get a good night's sleep and things and we'll have a good day. Just need to get out. I've been stuck in and I understand I have to still be very careful, and I am. And I spoke to the dietitian today. We have a good plan. I'm getting put on a different sort of shake, one that doesn't contain dairy or anything, and I have to go on to like a FODMAP diet. Basically a very miserable diet, but I have to, along with the Mebeverin, try like a food mop diet, and I've got a month to try that. If it doesn't curb all of the bloating and stomach issues, then again it's further tests because they want to rule out things like bowel and ovarian cancer, other sort of growths, be it benign tumours and things like that in your bowels and all that sort of thing. Fingers crossed that it fixes it. So far the Mebeverin has helped with like cramps and things, and it's helped a tiny bit with bloating, but I think I need to, get on with the diet and see how they both work. So that's the plan. That's what we've got to do, and that's what's been going on. I think you're all caught up with it all, and hopefully the next video will be a fun one. It'll be us pumpkin picking and just having a good time. I thought I would let you know what's all been happening and why I might look terrible for a little while, tired especially. That's why. I'm gonna go because we're gonna go and watch Ghost Adventures. I'm gonna go and get pyjamas on and get comfortable, get a hot drink, chill out the rest of the night. That's my plan. I will catch you all in the next video and it will be a fun one, okay? So bye.